Hey everyone, it's the Nitty Professor, and this is going to be a video about replacing my handspun in a different container. So we're going to go through all of it, and we're also going to have a chance to look at the progress that I've made as a spinner, and also observe Ari while he pants. He had some good, tough tennis ball play this afternoon. So I received this junk from AARP in the mail today. Because yes, I am a bona fide AARP member. Hope you are too. Their publications are actually pretty good, and for the money, yeah, it's hard to beat. So anyhow, sent me this. I'm sure it's, it's supposed to be for food. Ta-da! But I thought to myself, my handspun has ended up, it's just kind of all over. Well, it's in 3 containers. Ari, why are you shedding on me with it? So I thought, well, let's see how much I can fit inside of this lovely container. Let's see where it's made. It says AARP right inside it. Look at that. You'll never guess where it was made, people. There we go. Okay, well, it didn't cost me anything other than joining. So we'll start with some recent homeless skeins. Yeah, this is a cloud that I spun up. I think I showed this to you guys fairly recently, and it is just plush and yummy. Has alpaca in it, and I'm very excited to spin that into something. This is from some cupcakes of Frabjous fiber that I spun. Now, all of these are 3-ply, what I'm showing you right now, because as a spinner, I pretty much just moved toward, I just do that. For whatever reason. It does make a nice yarn. I mean, I feel good about this yarn. I don't know what you guys think and what kind of yarn you make, but I feel like this could hold up next to a lot of the handspun yarn I've seen anyhow. This is it's like a Pegora goat fiber that I spun up. It's a little more saggy. It was a challenge to spin. It just behaves way differently from wool. So I'm not sure what I'll use it in. As you can tell, the drape is some serious drape versus, this. It's like stiff in comparison. Pegora goat behaves much differently from wool, but it is soft and it's kind of silky. So now I have 2 tubs, and what's cool that I just am kind of amazed at myself, really. I only started spinning a few years back. Maybe it's been 4 years, I'm not sure. But I started off making some pretty rough yarns. In fact, I don't know, we could take a look at some of that. I've got 2 containers here of handspun. We'll see if this will fit. Well, here's one example. I found this lurking somewhere. And this was just some practice. You can tell it's uneven. And some's overspun and some is underspun. Not sure what I'll do with it. But, something like this. Look at that. How kinky it got in there. Way overspun. But it would be so fun to use this for rug hooking or weaving. And those are 2 crafts that I'm determined to get into sooner rather than later. This year, hopefully. So even this is, beginner's attempt at learning how to spin. And obviously, doesn't represent a high skill level. It's spun, and it could add some really awesome texture in something that is woven or rug hooked, shall we say. Now here's another one that this was, again, it was just for fun. This is a single that I spun. I took a class from my friend Kelly, and she just was like, "You'll try this, try that, go grab some fiber, and just see what happens." And this is what happened, right? I don't know what that is in the middle of it, but there's clearly something underneath there that is not the neon yarn that is on the outside. But again, for weaving, rug hooking, wow, it's like a little treasure. Early attempts are sometimes they've got their place, And I have some things like this. This is just leftover. I think I chain plied this. I'm not positive. But in any case, there it is. Could also be good in a weaving. Here's an early attempt, which I plied. It was probably my first plying, because I can tell there are different fibers in there from Kelly's stash and different thicknesses. You know, it represents those kinds of fits and starts that are symptomatic of, well, I'm still learning, right? Again, weaving, rug hooking, a treasure. So that fits. Here's another one that's, now this, got stuff falling on me. It's a label. This is some wool that a friend of mine gave me. I've talked about her gift to me before with how it was just a grab bag of a lot of locks and stuff that she collected specifically for me to learn from, which is very sweet. She used to have her own yarn store. She doesn't anymore. But she gave me a whole grocery bag stuffed full. I still have a lot of it. And said, see what you can do on your carder and spinning it up. So this is one of the outcomes. Apparently I like purple and orange together because I have another spool, a bobbin of this combination of color. And obviously this is, you know, again, it's pretty rough. So weaving, rug hooking, that's what that's going to be for. Now here's one I spun up recently. This is 2 different bags of fiber, orange and green, that kind of go together. They're both this Columbia cross from the Lazy Farmer in, I'm going to guess, yeah, Clear Lake, Minnesota. I get a lot of fiber from Minnesota because they come to South Dakota and sell their wares. This turned out really nice. So I've metamorphosed from a beginner to a proficient spinner of wool. And, you know, it's the kind of thing that, well, I still might have moments where I, you know, I'm drafting and the thread breaks, or I get the tension a little bit off and I have to adjust it. I catch those things way earlier now. And, you know, here you can tell there's a little thick part right there. Something went wrong. But for the most part, it's very evenly spun. Beautiful yarn. And, you know, I was thinking this is a good day for going through this little exercise because book 4 is coming out. It's available on Amazon. In fact, I can make a link for you. And it's the Spinning Wheel Maker, right? So there's so much spinning. It's crazy how much spinning goes on in that book. It was so much fun to write. This is some fiber that my daughter gave me. This is again from Kelly from Biota Yarns, or now she goes by South 40. And it's like a nightshade or something like that blend, she called it, and it's got a lot of like dark Shetland in it, but also a number of colors mixed in, supposed to resemble the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, and I think it does, and it's spun up beautifully. Really pleased with that. Just such a fun yarn. I'm gonna have to start figuring out how to combine these. But yeah, in any case, so in the novel, there's a ton of spinning and multiple people engaging it. You'll find out there's this project that's involved. So anyhow, the Spinning Wheel Maker, it's going to come out, and it's very pride themed because it has to do with a young man who's struggling to come out. So I'm really proud that I was able to write that. And when it does, when everything's available on Barnes & Noble everywhere, I'll probably do a little bit a video about some of the behind the scenes, like how I arrived at writing that book. So I'm kind of crooked, but sorry about that. Nothing unusual, right? And another reason why this video is well timed, gotta have some tea, is because I'm writing book 9, and one of the characters is nicknamed the Spindle Demon on there. So I have written in a character who is uses drop spindles, and it's so much fun. My sister's reading it for me. She's really enjoying it. This is some wool that I bought a bag of skirted wool, and I washed it, carded it. It was a lot of work because it had a lot of veg matter in it. Spun it, plied it. It's 3-ply. It's a pretty big skein. I don't know how many ounces this is because I haven't weighed it, but I'm sure it's probably more like 6 ounces. And I was picking veg matter out of it all the way through the whole spinning process. But it turned into a really beautiful, beautiful brown yarn. It's the natural hue of the wool. I'm very proud of this skein because it was like more of learning the entire process. You know, obviously I didn't shear the sheep, you guys, but from that point on, I manipulated this wool. It's so soft. It's a Shetland lamb's wool. So this will be fun to integrate with something. Not sure what. We're not full yet. We still got room. Good. That's just good. I'm just hoping I can fit all of this in this one. Should keep the moths out. This is from another fiber prep from my friend Kelly. She actually gave this to me. It's a black Shetland sheep. I'm pretty sure it's Shetland. It's a black sheep. So not necessarily, you know, the most frequent thing for people to have black fiber and spinning it with it. But this turned out just as good as the brown. In fact, they kind of have a nice little vibe going on together. I like how they turned out. Again, 3-ply, that's kind of what I do. This is a little bit, it's less woolen than the other, which is interesting. Now here's one that is a bit of an earlier effort. Let's call this the 4th grade. Maybe I've reached high school by now as a spinner. Feel free to disagree, but we can tell this has some variations in thickness and this kind of thing. Plus, it's a single. This is alpaca. But it's still useful. You know, I could knit with this easily. I could easily knit with this a hat, a scarf, or again, weaving, rug hooking. This is like a treasure trove. The nice thing about this Handspun and this, you know, art yarn is it opens doors. It opens creative doors that I can go into as I continue to experiment with various ways to craft fiber. Ooh, here we're going way back, way back. This is similar to the other ball that I showed you at the beginning, but we can tell here that some of that is it even spun? I don't know, it looks like roving. But then we have some thinner. So again, another treasure. I could even respin this. I could probably even recard some of it, but I like the idea of weaving with it. I think weaving would be great. So in any case, yeah, book 9 has a spinner in there. And I'm just still writing it. So that book is, as we say in German, im Werden. It's sort of growing, coming. I've got a lot of strands. I'm trying to bring them together. I don't want the book to get too scattered, you know. But yeah, I have to figure out now that I've introduced him as this spinner, who's, you know, sort of addicted, I have to figure out how that's going to play into all the other things that happen. So yeah. Spinning is on my mind, and Tour de Fleece is coming up, so I'm going to have to really work to devote myself on that. This is just sort of I think I just spun up some odds and ends that I had. I got this whole raft of fiber from my university. They phased out I'm going to sort of rehank this. They phased out the fiber art aspect of their art program. And so they had all this kind of random fiber. And I think it was for learning purposes, right? There was some camel, there was some llama. I did a video a while back, I might want to redo it, about all these different fibers. I mean, there was yak, there were feathers, there was llama, there was camel hair, camel down, scoured, unscoured, just a crazy weird variety. So I have gone through a lot of it, you know, washing it, carding it, but there's still a good bit left that is sort of in limbo, shall we say. And I think this was one of those bags of random fiber, and I just threw in some extra that I had left over from a previous project because I don't want to waste it. No idea where this is going to end. Weaving, rug hooking, maybe. But here's a skein that's probably going to end up in a sweater or something beautiful. This is, I kept the label on here, so organic Polworth top from Frabjous Fiber. Frabjous Fiber makes really good products. Everything I've spun from them, which hasn't been a lot, it has turned out really beautifully. Isn't that lovely? That's just a beautiful 3-ply yarn, and it's poofy. It's has a wonderful hand to it. Yeah, that I'm really proud of how that turned out. We still got room. We still got room, which is good because I have another bucket to go through here. Beginner spinning, beginner spinning. I mean, I must have been really happy when I finished spinning that because that's actually a lot of wool. A lot of wool in there. But look at all the variations. That is the epitome of art yarn. Definitely for weaving, rug hooking, and if you guys have other ideas of what purpose to use this kind of wool for, let me know. I am open to ideas. Here's another one that this was spun out. I've struggled with my Spinolution spinning wheel, and it's interesting because my friends stopped selling them because I guess I wasn't the only person who was having issues with it. The break is just odd. I ended up indirectly kind of like writing about it in my novel and studying about the break. It's called direct drive, so it's not double drive, it's not Scotch or Irish tension, it's direct drive, and the break somehow it's applied directly to the wheel. So I finally figured out, after literally like 3 years of trying to wrangle with it, that it's a great plying wheel, and that's what I use it for. And it's like a workhorse plying wheel for me now. So just took me a while to figure out how to use it, but this is one of my attempts at figuring it out. And it's alpaca again. So it's a single, and it cost me some headaches. Look at that kinked up coiled yarn, definitely overspun. I struggled with the tension because I couldn't figure it out. I was probably making it too hard. But in any case, that is an early effort. Here's a tiny baby with some leftover that I'm going to put that with my other leftover, because a lot of times when I get to the end of a spin, it doesn't all work out exactly the way I thought it would, and I have a little bit left over, and then I just add it in to the end. Here's some more. This is some beautiful orange yarn. This is a 2-ply. So this is, again, let's call this a elementary school achievement. It's a wonderful, it's sort of a chunky yarn. I probably spun it on that Spinolution. Turned out pretty well. You know, by that time I was finally figuring out how to use it. Not sure what I'll use it for, but it's very soft. It's a beautiful orange, like a mandarin orange color. And it is every, bit good enough to integrate into a nice project. In fact, it sort of harmonizes with this one. It's like, orange on orange, like mandarin orange and clementine, and I don't know, aren't those the same? But this makes me happy. This makes me happy. This is from a Cloud Prep. This is the 3-ply. Spun this in the past year or so. You guys might remember some of these that I like to hold up. This one I spun, I think it was last year. This is from some roving from Georgia that my sister gifted me with. I think it was last year. And it's a rare sheep breed. I can't remember all the ins and outs. Somewhere I have the labels on these things. But it has an interesting texture to it. It's not especially woolen. It feels very sturdy, but it's also somehow cushiony as well. So I love the color. I just love the color. This is some noob that I spun, and this is a super wash, which was an experience spinning. It's a Malabrigo product, and I hear more and more people like, Malabrigo, probably not going to carry it anymore, the dye rubs off, whatever. And I don't know if the quality has like deteriorated. I will say, and I have more of this to spin, and I will spin it, and I love the color. Now, I mixed it with some leftover yarn at the end, so when I skein, when I ball it up, I'll probably just cut that part off, and it'll be a little ball of something to go into a weaving or a rug hooking project. And it feels great, and it barber poles really nicely with the different shades of blue. It's beautiful. But was the quality of the fiber as I was like, having it, drafting it, and drawing across my fingers, it was almost felt like it was digging into my skin. So I had to like, just spin a little at a time. I couldn't just keep spinning and spinning it. So I got it done and it turned out well. Again, I love the color. Now here is this is a 2-ply, and I bought enough of these 2 colors to make what I am planning as a striped sweater. Now, I got this much fun, and it's great. I think it turned out really good. I have a lot to go, and I lost interest, and so I'm going to have to, maybe that would be a good Tour de Fleece project, would be to get back into these and spin up some more so I could start knitting that striped sweater. I thought it would look really cool. I don't even have a label for this yarn. I think it's a Cormo. I think bought it at North Country Fiber Fair, which I'm actually now on the board of that. So if I start advertising for North Country Fiber Fair, you'll know why. This is definitely a beginner product. Some leftover stuff that I kind of threw together. In fact, I see a little bit of that noob in there. And I spun it with some other random gray stuff. Some of this fiber I got at a flea market. There's a woman who just places rather eclectic wool. Lately, all she's had is just the, traditional cream colored sheep's wool in there. And so I haven't bought any more because guess what? I don't need any more. But it's been interesting to spin some of the stuff that she had there. In fact, this is another example of a red wool combined with a blue wool that was there. And I'm kind of sorry she doesn't have any more colors. This turned out pretty good. Let's call this the pen yarn, because the colors of my alma mater where I got my master's and doctorate are red and blue. So this turned out fine. It looks like I must have done a 2-ply. Not positive. It could be 3. But this is perfectly good to integrate into something. And so, yeah. So, and I keep soap for better or worse. I feel like the lavender soap certainly doesn't hurt anything. It makes the yarn smell good. And it is my nod to keeping moths at bay. I actually found the label to this Gulf Coast native wool. I think that's what this one is. From Georgia. You hear a lot about Georgia in the news lately. All right. So there's one more thing I would like. Well, let's see. Let's see. Now the question is, will this close? Let's see what you guys think. I hope you guys feel this way about your accomplishments. I'm proud of myself that I'm going to tell you another story. The first time I ever spun wool was when I was a volunteer demonstrator at Living History Farms in Des Moines, Iowa. Taught at Drake University for 12 years. My kids were born there. And they had these programs. I worked in the print shop, but we had a program about learning to spin wool, and I thought, well, that sounds fun. Ta-da! Look at that. It's perfect. It's perfect size. So anyhow, they did this little program where they're like, we're going to show you how to card and spin wool. And that was the drop spindle. I'd actually forgotten that I had used a drop spindle, which I did, and carded it with, the hand carders. And I have since given up that wool. It was unwashed. It was just full of lanolin, just chock full. But that was the first time that I ever did it. So that was back in the 90s. And since those early pitiful beginnings, I spun all this wool that filled this Chinese AARP freezer container, which is a lot of fun. So I have one more show and tell for you guys, if you've stuck it out this long. And RP for Royal Purple, that's what it's for today. Usually my novels, it's for Retinitis pigmentosa, because that's what my character has. But for today, it's for Royal Purple. Now, I would argue that this is more of a magenta, but in any case, I got the Fantasia wheel, and it had 3 bobbins, which is great, but I can spin more than that. So I have 2 projects occupying those 3 bobbins right now, and I make 3-ply. So I bought for more bobbins for the Fantasia, and they are all this royal purple. Now I have to say, number one, I think it's super cool that I can order a spinning wheel in any one of half a dozen colors. It's just so much fun. Number two, so this is from Revolution. It's so easy. I ordered it like 5 days ago. It came, it's just fine. And I can order the bobbins that match the wheel. I just think it's so much fun, and it's just so easy. It's beautiful workmanship. I love it. It makes spinning fun. And that wheel works really, really well. It is easily as good as my Lendrum. So, by the way, Lendrum, I heard, is back in business. Did you guys hear that? When I was at the knitting in public, my friends told me that they were back in business. So now I got 4 new bobbins. So I'm excited about that because my Lendrum spinning wheel, I adore. Have to keep it oiled. Otherwise, it gets a little bit noisy. But I'm really glad to hear that. But I feel like Kromsky, based on my experience with the Fantasia, is a really good alternative to the Lendrum. And it's not overpriced and get great service. Again, I got this stuff from Revolution Fiber, and they've just been really helpful. And I got emails from Nicole, which is interesting because that's the protagonist that I introduced in Volume 5. So I get emails from Nicole, and then I read about Nicole, even though they're 2 different Nicoles. It's like signs, right? It's signs. My novels were meant to be. So, again, I'll be back at you next week as soon as my book 4, The Spinning Wheel Maker, is all live. I'm going to let you guys know because I know some of you enjoy reading my novels as much as I enjoy writing them, and it means so much to me. And I do hope you enjoy reading about old-fashioned woodworking techniques that went into making spinning wheels before the advent of power tools. It was so much fun researching that. I've done videos on that too. So that's all I have for today, which is plenty. Happy Pride. I was at the Pride Festival earlier. Managed to sell even one of my novels when I was there. Was representing Equality South Dakota. And we look at legislation and just try to keep people apprised of what's going on that might affect them. So it was a good event, had a nice little drag show, and that was a lot of fun. So I hope your Pride is getting off to a nice end, and that, some of you, like me, will indulge in Tour de Fleece. So until then, we'll talk soon. Ciao.